What's going on, guys? What's going on, guys? It's another day, and it's Thursday, and we gotta give thanks to see another day, man. So just a couple of things I want to address. Um, I've been out of the country for approximately 3 weeks now, right? And when I was leaving, the prices that I leave, um, and the prices that I'm now seeing since I got back here. I got back here since 2 days ago. And prices have gone up significantly. Um, Significantly. Like food prices, gas prices, everything just went up significantly. And the real reason why I leave Bali to come back here is because before I get to the reason why I leave Bali, so I met a guy while I was in Bali, and he was like, we were just chopping it up, having a conversation. I was like, "Oh, you live here, man, right?" And he was like, "Yeah, I live here." I was like, "How long ago you moved here?" And he was like, "Well, 15 years ago, I had a 3 months holiday." He's from Australia, or UK, or one of those countries. I think he's Australian though. And it was like 3 months ago, 15 years ago, I had a 3 months holiday, and I'm still here. So he's been in Bali for over um 15 plus years. He has a club there, and he do travel services and run a travel agent company, etc. So he was doing better there, I guess. So man, I was in paradise. Ain't gonna lie, I was in a place where I was eating every day fresh, natural food. Um, the Uber, like 30 minutes Uber ride. Like, well, I was using Gojek. They don't have Uber there, but Gojek is the equivalent Uber. A 30 minutes Uber ride is like $8 or less. I was having fun there, man. And you know, things was like really inexpensive there. And on top of things being so inexpensive, you're getting top quality services. You're getting top quality food. And everything was just magical there. Slow pace of life. Um, and that's a place I could see myself. Well, it's not a slow pace of life because at nighttime it's crazy because you have all the tourists and you have all the parties and it's just a lot of fun. But from a food standpoint and what you're eating compared to here in the States, it's like night and day, man. Here in the States, you're eating a whole bunch of chemical. The air is even better there in some places. The air is absolutely better in some places. And having some technical difficulties here. And put it back on. So yes, I was saying here here in the United States, um, a whole bunch of stuff going on right now. The economy sucks, and I can understand why a lot of people are just leaving, not only the United States, but most Western countries, man. Like, listen, in Bali, I saw a lot of Americans, Australians, uh, people from the UK, United Kingdom, and Europe just decide to just leave, and Canadians too, and just reside in Bali because of not only the food and stuff, because of the weather. The weather is good. Cost of living is extremely low and efficient. And, you know, I could have stayed. I really could have stayed. It could be a decision where we just said, we're going to move the family there. And, but I don't know about the school system there because, I have kids. But I could have stayed. Who knows? But the reason a lot of people end up staying is because of the same thing because of the things we're facing here in the States right now. High food costs, high energy costs, gas is getting out of hand, food prices getting out of hand, and it's just ridiculously stupid how the economy right now have changed. in the United States. Um, I'm gonna be objective, even though I have like a, a type of view on the economy, and it's my view on the economy here in the States, in the United States. I have a conservative view, but I'm objective enough to see that what is happening now is is bad for everyone. Somebody asked what currency Bali use. Bali use rupiah. I think there is Balinese rupiah. So the conversion rate for $1 to the Balinesian rupiah is 17,250 to 17,000 like 600 rupiah for $1. So fun fact, if you have 100 US dollars in Bali, you're over a millionaire. That's like uh 1.6 mil rupiah for 100 US dollars. So Bali has a lot of millionaires per capita, if you get what I'm saying. So yeah, the conversion is $1 equal 17,000, around 17,600 rupiah. You get it? Yeah, so you guys should visit Bali, man. So what I was saying is, yeah, I'm objective enough to see that what's going on in the economy right now is crazy. A lot of people just give up. Um, but the real thing is, the news not going to tell you that because the news is politically skewed in a way where they can't report the real numbers. So a lot of and a lot of people like burned out. A lot of people here in the state burned out. They're tapped out uh, in regards to their finances. They're tapped out because and those people who are like, I think the statistic is like 1 in 3 just gave up. They're not looking for jobs. They're not doing anything. They just like get out of the labor force. And the reason why that happened is because like people can't make ends meet here with the high food prices, gas, housing is freaking crazy here. And as I said, it's not only here, it's a lot of Western countries and developed countries. I met a guy at Finn's Beach Club, and he was telling me while I was in Bali, I met a guy at Finn's Beach Club, and he was telling me that, listen, I pay $1,300 per week for rent in Australia. Because I was like, we're talking, I was like, yeah, one day I want to visit Australia to see what Australia is like. And he was like, oh, yeah, I live in Sydney, dude, but Sydney is one of the most expensive city in the world. I pay 1,300 Aussie dollars per week for rent. And I was like, what? When I do the conversion, it's like $900 or so US dollars um, for 1,300 Aussie dollars. But dude, and that's why you see a lot of people from those countries and all over flock into Bali just to, or not even Bali, but I'm just talking from Bali because that's my experience. That's the experience I had there for the past couple of weeks. It's just a lot of tourists there, and they're not like tourists for a couple of days. They're like permanent tourists, or some of them stayed 6 months or more, and some of them like permanently reside there, permanently move there due to the fact that Western countries like have high taxes here in the States, and people just want to escape that. People just want to get away from the high tax burden. People want to, because on top of like finding it difficult to make ends meet, to buy food, to really provide shelter for your family, gas, and to really own a home now in the States is like something extremely difficult to do. Extremely difficult. You can have good credit, but or whatever, because I have excellent credit, and it's just extremely difficult because of how the system is, and the payments and stuff, the down payments and the mortgage rates and the interest and everything is just like really discouraging a lot of people from even entertaining getting a house, you know? So that's why in Bali, as I'm just saying, there's a lot of people there from here in the States there and all over and they're staying. So the real reason why I come back is, man, because of the kids, because I have kids here and, I test the waters. I see the thing is, as I travel outside of the States, I've been doing a whole lot of traveling recently, and as I travel outside of the States, I'm testing the waters in different areas to see where, and sometime in the future, I will actually trying to move to or even spend some extended period of time in a particular region, so on and so forth. Because let's face it, man, I don't think it's getting better here. And as I said earlier, I have a conservative view of things, and I would like things to be a certain way here in the States. But um, I think that each and every political leader is just kicking the can down the road. And if you're not smart enough to realize that, um, the best days are behind us here in the States in terms of like how you as a person can really get to the next level and not overburdened by these financial and economical stress that this current economy or any economy um, pro throw throw on us is like, you're probably living under a rock, but I think the best days are behind us, man, in a whole lot of ways. And is the system is just rigged, and it's rigged in a way where no matter how somebody's telling you, you gotta pull your bootstrap up, and yes, it can be done. Definitely, you gotta hold your own, pull your bootstrap up, stop competing with the Joneses, and just stay in your lane and just be focused and accomplish your goals. Yes, it can be done. 100%, it can be done. No doubt about it. It can be done. But and there's a matter of fact, there's no but. Honestly, it can be done. That's one thing I believe it can be done. However, in this current period right now, in this current state of the economy, I don't know what is happening. You know, the leaders, political leaders, and the bureaucrats who really control the economy here and control how things are done is taxing people beyond recognition. Like, there's no way a nurse who make $78,000 a year should be paying 12 to $13,000 in taxes. Like, really, there's no way that should happen, and that should be happening. And these politicians don't really care about that stuff. You know, they don't really care about. They just want to tax you, and they want to like paint. They want to like divide and conquer. They're like, oh yeah, the rich is doing this and the rich is doing that, and the rich is taking away money from you, and the rich is taking away this from you, and the rich is taking away that from you. That's all they do, divide and conquer, but they never try to really address the real issue and address the real problem is, and the real problem is people pay too much in taxes in the United States. Like, simple, pay too much in taxes in the United States. And shitholes like New York City, California, and all those blue places are even gonna get worse because it really sucks. It really sucks. And when you go outside the country and you experience places like Bali, Peru, and all those other countries, developing nations that are coming up and who are just sucking away the United States and other European countries. Um, workforce and people and essentially the brain force, because it's mostly younger people who are getting up and getting out of the United States. And those young people, they are the one who's going to start businesses and start tech firms and start all types of the United States to realize what's going on. And, you know, it's just too much goddamn taxes you pay in the United States just to live here, like for no reason. The food you eat here is is below standard in comparing to what you have in like Europe and some other countries, man. Because the method of production here and method of farming and method of production and the chemical they use and the pesticides and all type of stuff and the um the modification of fruits and vegetables in terms of like removing the seeds and removing the natural way, like it's just bad, man. It's bad. It is bad. Like, and at some point the system is gonna catch up and people are like gonna be like, we're not doing this no more and we're leaving. And the news won't say this, but you have hundreds, if not thousands of people leaving the United States daily to areas of Africa, Southeast Asia, and South America. To they're leaving daily, and they're leaving for extended period of time. Like they're leaving for 6 months to 24 months. And when they leave, some of them leave for a very longer time than that. And when they leave, the real reason why they're leaving is not just to go holiday and vacation and spend money elsewhere. They're leaving because they're actively seeking a place to call home. A lot of people in the United States are actively seeking a place to call home outside of the United States because you cannot afford to live here in this country. This place is ridiculous. You cannot afford to live here. It's dead. You pay a lot for everything. Schooling is ridiculous. And over the years, the school system have watered down so much, and schools like higher education here in the United States is no longer higher education from my perspective, from my point of view. I think that a higher education here, like all those schools and colleges, have slowly become a place of indoctrination and slowly become an indoctrination camp. And you know they don't teach you math, sciences, and stuff in college anymore. They don't teach you to solve problems. It's just some of the degrees that people are getting now, the paper that the degree is printed on are worth more than the actual degree. And here in the States, you're paying thousands of dollars, 80, 90,000 dollars for some basket weaving degrees that doesn't teach you anything or doesn't teach you to build or construct anything on your own. And from my point of view, higher education, um, a place of higher education should teach you how to be an entrepreneur. It doesn't teach you how to be a worker for somebody else. That's from my point of view, because that's higher education. That's teaching you, should be giving you skills and the know-how and the technicalities how to get into an industry and become an industry producer, produce something in industry, not to sit be in the industry, sit to be a bureaucrat or to just hide behind a fancy degree. Like it is just stupid, like education in the United States now. It is. It is. And people are catching on to it because a lot of these degrees, as I said, doesn't worth nothing. And you just go along and pay a whole bunch of money for these degrees. And then at the end of the period, you cannot find a job that will help you to pay off the degree. is like, yo, I've heard stories of people who like driving Uber and have master's degree in education and master's degree in some other stuff that they can't utilize within this economy. They really can't utilize that within this economy because who knows why? Because of the way things are. So what's it's just you defeat the purpose of getting a degree in those areas. You know what I mean? But that's another topic for another day. And I like to say, guys, that experience in Bali was phenomenal. I had fun. I just get another perspective on life. I see what, and as I said, every time I travel outside of the United States, I understand that we're being ripped off here. I understand more and more and more that as an American living in the United States, you're being ripped off economically, socially, physically, emotionally. And when I said that is because if you understand, a lot of people here are angry because not because they want to be an angry person, it's because like they get up every day with bills overshadowing them, with financial stress overshadowing them, and it just take away, in some regards, the cost of living and the economical situation here is just in the United States just take away your livelihood. It just take away and suck your energy, take away your livelihood, suck your energy. So that's why your vibe just kill you. So that's it, guys. Please remember, like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I drop any content at all. This is Jermaine Views. And as I said, man, this was a good trip out there to Bali. I linked up with a lot of people from outside of the States who are like Australians, from the UK. I did a few of the network, and I just see things clearly now, and I see that long term, it doesn't benefit anyone to live here in the States. I get it. You want to keep your U.S. passport. Yeah, you could keep that and live outside of the country because, the passport open up different gates for you across the world. But outside of that, the passport, as I said, we're being ripped off, man. Big time. Ripped off in all type of ways. Big time getting ripped off in all type of ways, man. So I'll see you guys later in the next video, man. Peace. Bless up. All right.